every day. In the village of Eldermere, dragons were more than legends. They were warnings whispered to children at night. Elders spoke of silver, scaled hunters that scorched forests in a heartbeat, of shadow, winged beasts that carried the skies. Most villagers feared them. But Kael, a boy with eyes wide, as the winter sky and curiosity sharper than the village swords, felt something different. He believed dragons could be understood. One bitter morning, while traversing the gray peaks for herbs, Kael heard a strange, plaintive cry cutting through the wind. He followed it, climbing higher into the jagged cliffs than he had ever dared. There, half buried in snow, lay a dragon, her scales shimmering like molten silver. She shivered violently, her wing trapped beneath an avalanche of ice and snow. Her golden eyes met Kael's, and for a fleeting second he saw fear mirrored in them. A fear not of humans, but of pain, of vulnerability. Kael knelt in the snow, heart racing. "It's okay. I won't hurt you," he murmured. Carefully, every day, he lifted the snow from her wing and wrapped his scarf around his hands to press against a deep gash in her flank. She flinched but didn't lash out. Over the next hours, Kael spoke softly, telling her stories of the valley below, the forests, rivers, and the small village where people dreamed and feared. Her golden eyes watched him, studying, listening, and in a silent understanding, trust began to blossom. He named her Lyria. Every day, Kael returned to the peaks, bringing herbs, dried meat, and water. Lyria learned to respond to his gestures and tones, communicating with gentle tail flicks, hums that vibrated in the air, and careful, deliberate movements. They developed a language of empathy, a rhythm of companionship without words. However, Eldermere's fear was never far. One evening, hunters discovered Kael climbing with Lyria. Panic spread through the village. Dragons were dangerous. They demanded Kael bring her to the village square for judgment. Kael faced an impossible choice: betray his friend or defy the village. When Lyria entered the square, wings unfurled in a majestic arc, the villagers froze. She lowered her head to Kael's shoulder. Every day, exhaling warm smoke, a gesture of peace. She had the power to destroy them, yet she chose restraint. The council reluctantly allowed Kael to return her to the mountains. "She is not ours to command," he said. "But she will protect us if we learn to trust, not fear." That night, Kael and Lyria flew together over the peaks, diving into valleys and gliding above glaciers. He felt the wind in his lungs, the rush of flight, and the silent bond that tethered them, human and dragon, and friends against a world of fear. Winter came harshly. One night, a band of marauders invaded the valley, intent on plunder. The villagers panicked, armed only with pitchforks and outdated muskets. From the mountains, a thunderous roar echoed. Lyria and her kin appeared, circling with synchronized precision. Flames licked the snow, not to harm, but to hurt and intimidate. Kael coordinated from below, signaling humans to protect the village while dragons drove intruders into retreat. For the first time, the villagers understood. Dragons were not merely creatures of fear. They were allies capable of loyalty and bravery. In the months that followed, Kael became a bridge between dragons and humans. Children left gifts atop the Peaksbury's trinkets, and notes scribbled with innocent hopes. Adults, initially skeptical, learned to observe quietly, respecting the dragon's space and guidance. Lyria and her companions began to aid in hunts and rescue lost travelers and patrol the skies for dangers unseen. The once feared dragons became guardians, a living reminder that understanding could replace fear. Years passed. Kael grew into a young man, wise in ways his village could not have imagined. He discovered new dragon sanctuaries, cataloged their behaviors, and mediated disputes between humans and dragons. The gray peaks flourished with life, dragons nesting safely on cliffs, humans living in harmony below. And at night, under a sky dusted with stars, villagers would look to the mountains and see silhouettes against the moonlight. A boy, now grown, riding a dragon through the clouds, a proof of a friendship that bridged worlds. Kael often reflected on the first day he found Lyria. He remembered the trembling dragon, the silver scales dusted with snow, and the golden eyes that had judged him in silence. It all began with trust. He whispered into the night, and in the wind, he felt her answer, a low hum vibrating in harmony with his heartbeat. A friendship that neither time nor fear could ever break.